Hi everyone, this is Rajitha here from Razz TV and hope you all are doing well and safe out there. In this episode, I'm going to talk to you about millennials and some money advice for millennials. So if you haven't known, millennials are going to be the next rich generation. Okay, so in this episode of Razz TV, we are going to talk about millennials and money advice. So millennials are going to be our next, also known as the Gen Ys. Millennials are also known as the Gen Ys. And this is the generation that is going to be the next rich generation. If you're wondering who is a millennials are anyone who is born in between 1980 to 1996, plus or minus 1 year, and they are anywhere currently between 23, 24 to 39 years old. And this is the generation that is heavily in the workforce right now due to their demographics, due to their age group, and because of their timing with the industry right now. Millennials are also very tech savvy. They are very tech savvy. They know how to adapt to technologies. This generation is very unique. They don't have to learn everything from school. They know how to self-learn, self-teach themselves and get into new markets and get into new purposes of working, so they have a good lifestyle. And also something about millennials, they are the generation that is very responsible with their spendings. If you look at some of their graphics of how they are spending, they really want to make sure they are spending very responsibly compared to their previous generations, and they want to spend for a purpose, yet they spend anywhere between hundreds and billions of dollars each year just in the US alone. So millennials make a good money and they spend a lot of money, but they do spend very responsibly. And if you look at their money habits, they do want to be financially safe. They want to have an emergency fund. They want to have some savings goal. They want to buy a house. They also want to make sure they have some funds for their retirement. So if you see that not every generation has this kind of a habit for spending. My goal with this video for you is for you to teach you, give you some good tips and advices. If you are a millennial or if you are someone who is trying to make the most out of your prime years, this episode is for you. And I would like to, in this episode, to give you some good advices, 6 advices about how you can make the most out of your millennial prime years and make the most out of your financial portfolio. So the first advice I would like to give you is, you are already working very hard. You are working, so make sure you are earning the money that you are worthy of. And make sure you are saving more, you are earning more, and make sure you are spending less than what you are earning. Now you millennials, a lot of you are already responsible with what you want to spend, and you are very clear with where you want to spend your money and how it's going to be earned and all that. But if you don't pay attention, especially for anyone who is 18 to 35 years old, if you spend less than you make, it can be a very common mistake. If you are spending less than you make, it is a very bad thing that you are getting yourself into. So quickly get into a habit of spending less than what you make, okay, not more than what you make. That's my advice number 1 for you. My advice number 2 for you is, make sure you have an emergency fund. So this is very important, and I cannot stress enough, and especially with the current situation that we are in with COVID pandemic and the market disruption and whatnot. A lot of you have gone through a layoff or reduction in your income, or maybe your family member got impacted, or whatever that is. A lot of you have been through this phase, And if you haven't experienced it, having no income and having no emergency fund is only going to put you and your family at a huge risk. So always make sure at the minimum you have a 3 months enough funds that will make you, that is readily available for you and your family if you have to, have face some crisis. Or make sure you have, ideally 6 to 9 months, so you are financially safe as well. So make sure you work towards creating that emergency fund as your first priority. Okay, so my advice number 3 for you is to make sure you have a good retirement portfolio. So what do I mean by this is, if you look at in this graphic here, your every dollar that you spend at the certain age. So if you are a 20-year-old and you're investing into your retirement fund $1, it is gonna grow to it is gonna become $5.84 by the time you get to age 65. Now this is not this is just a hypothetical illustration. So the more early you start, the idea here is to give you the message that the earlier you start investing in your retirement portfolio, the money is going to grow for you very quickly. So if you are in your 20s and 30s, obviously you're doubling, tripling, quadrupling your money by the time you get to your retirement age. And you are starting late, it's going to be going at a very slower pace. So the sooner you start on your retirement funds, the better. And make sure you take advantage of your employer match, which is basically free money. Usually employers match anywhere between 3 to 5% of your contribution. So that's a lot of money when you are making good amount per month. So my advice number 4 for you is to make sure you do not inflate your lifestyle. So you millennials, maybe you are just getting married or you are probably a bachelor and you are making good money. So it doesn't mean that you go and spend all your money, keeping up with your neighbors, keeping up with the Joneses and going wild shopping or going and buying those toys that you don't need in future. So do not overinflate your lifestyle. Instead, make sure you spend your money and your effort where you really want to be, spend that time and energy for what really means for you, what adds more value to you. My advice number 5 for you is don't be scared to get some credit card debt or even mortgage or some good credit. So if you build your credit, it will give you very good exposure to the credit and how you can manage your credit, and that should help you understand how responsibly you can spend and pay it back. And also when you go for buying your home, you will be getting good return in terms of savings. So the better credit you have, the lesser interest you'll be paying on your home loans, car loans and all that stuff. So make sure you explore credit. Be a little cautious, but don't be over cautious. So explore your credit. Make sure you leverage that good credit to get good rewards, good savings, and good return on your investments, and make that good credit work in your benefit. And my advice number 6 for you is to make sure you work hard and make sure this is the time that you are in your prime age. Again, like I said, your 20s and 30s, you do want to party hard, but at the same time, make sure you make every effort. Don't be out of job for too long. Don't feel that you're working too hard already. This is the time that you want to put your most effort, do better than everyone in your company, get to the level that you want to be, advance and learn as many skills as you can, because this is the time you want to invest in yourself and you want to invest in developing your long-term career aspirations. So if you are just not investing enough, or if you're not just working hard enough in your 20s and 30s, when you come to your 40s, you will not have a good ground to work off of with. So my highest recommendation for you is make sure you invest in spending good amount of time learning what you're doing, learn your skill, improve your skills, and become the best of the best in at least one or two skills. You don't have to be best at everything, but become the best at some skills, which will pay you money, by the way. It's something that will pay you money, that will make you long. And don't forget to have fun throughout this process. You want to live life to the fullest every single stage of your life. If you have someone working 16 hours a day, Monday to Friday, make sure you take the weekends off. Do something fun, develop a hobby, develop a skill, and don't give up your dreams. So make sure you have enough balance, but don't worry if you are working too hard a couple weeks to get something done, and then if you're getting a break, that's a good balance too. So make sure you like what you're doing, because when you like what you're doing, you don't feel like you're working hard. And when you work so hard in your 20s and 30s, you will be able to accumulate enough investable assets, enough passive income that will carry you forward for the rest of your future. So I would really want you to make sure you take advantage of these advices and tips, and make sure you invest in doing the right thing with your money and with your career and with the time that you have in your 20s and 30s, because this is the time that you want to focus on what you really want to achieve and work towards it. That said, I am going to leave you all with this one thought. Alright, my friends, that's all for today, and I hope you all are staying safe, healthy, and wishing you all the very best with everything that you want to do, and live life to the fullest.